So my best friend abandoned her daughter after a suicide attempt and blamed me for kidnapping her. When I confronted her, she laughed in my face. Now she's banned from court. I'm Elena. I'm 35 years old, and until recently I thought I knew my best friend. Spoiler alert, I didn't know her at all. This story is about how I discovered that the person I trusted most was capable of abandoning her own daughter when she needed her most, and how justice eventually came in the most unexpected way. Sophia and I had been friends since college. We were inseparable, sharing everything: secrets, boyfriends, dreams, failures. When she married Michael, I was her maid of honor. When her daughter Isabella was born 15 years ago, I was the first to hold her after her parents. I'm even her godmother. Throughout all these years, I've been present for every important moment in Isabella's life. When she took her first steps, when she lost her first tooth, when she started school. Sophia always told me I was like Isabella's second mum, and I took it as the greatest compliment. But things started changing about 2 years ago. Sophia divorced Michael, and while I initially thought it would be temporary, the separation became very toxic. Sophia became obsessed with starting over and began dating different men. I don't judge anyone for wanting to find love again, but what bothered me was how Isabella was pushed to the back burner. Sophia started leaving Isabella with me, more and more often. At first it was just weekends when she had dates, but then it became entire weeks when she went on trips with her new boyfriends. "Eleanor, you're so good with her, and I need this for my mental health," she'd always tell me. Isabella was an incredible kid, but I could see how her mom's constant absence was affecting her. At nights, when she thought I couldn't hear her, I'd hear her crying. She'd wonder why her mom didn't want to be with her anymore, if she had done. Something wrong. It broke my heart, but every time I tried to talk to Sophia about it, she'd tell me I didn't understand because I didn't have kids of my own. Everything fell apart 3 months ago. It was a Friday night, and I was at home watching Netflix when I got a call from Michael. He was desperate. "Elena, have you heard anything from Isabella? She was supposed to be with Sophia this weekend, but Sophia says she doesn't know where she is. It's been 4 hours since she was supposed to be home." My blood ran cold. I immediately called Isabella. The phone rang and rang until she finally answered, with such a weak voice I barely recognized her. "Isabella, where are you, sweetheart?" "Godmother Elena, I'm at the hospital." My world stopped. "What hospital?" "I'm coming right now. General Hospital, but please don't tell my mum. I don't want her to come." I drove like crazy to the hospital. When I got there, I found Isabella connected to several wires, her eyes swollen from crying. A nurse explained that she had attempted suicide by taking pills. Fortunately, a neighbor had found her in time. "Where is her mother?" the nurse asked me. "She's on her way," I lied, because at that point I hadn't been able to reach Sophia. I stayed all night with Isabella. The hospital psychologist explained that she was in a very vulnerable state and needed immediate stability and family support. Isabella begged me not to leave her alone, saying she was scared. I finally managed to reach Sophia the next afternoon. She was at a mountain spa with her new boyfriend, Rodrigo. "What do you mean she tried to kill herself?" "That's ridiculous, Elena. Isabella has always been dramatic." "Sophia, she's in the hospital. Your daughter almost died." "Well, but she's okay now, right? Look, I'm at a very important retreat for my relationship with Rodrigo. Can you handle it? I'll be back Monday." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Monday? Sophia? She's your daughter. Elena, don't be dramatic. You've always been better with her anyway. Besides, Michael can go see her too." She hung up. Michael arrived that afternoon and stayed with me. We both took turns being with Isabella. But when Monday came, and Sophia didn't show up, something in me broke permanently. Tuesday, I called Sophia and told her Isabella would stay with me until she was ready to go home. Sophia didn't even protest. Perfect. That gives me more time to think about what to do. Isabella started psychological therapy. Little by little, she improved, but every time she mentioned her mum, she'd sink again. I enrolled her in the school near my house temporarily, bought clothes for her, and basically became her de facto guardian. 2 months passed like this. Sophia would call occasionally to ask how everything was going, but never asked to see Isabella or for her to come home. In fact, she seemed quite comfortable with the arrangement. But then she met Alejandro, a divorced man with 2 kids of his own, and that's when things got really ugly. One afternoon, Sophia showed up at my door unannounced. She came with Alejandro and had a strange smile on her face. "Elena, I need Isabella to come home. Alejandro and I are getting married and we want her to meet her future siblings." Isabella, who was doing homework at the dining room table, went pale when she saw her mom. "Now you want her back?" I asked. "After 2 months? Don't be dramatic, Elena. You've always exaggerated everything. Isabella, go pack your things." Isabella looked at me with panic. "Godmother, I don't want to go." "Isabella, don't be rude," Sophia yelled at her. "I'm your mother." That's when I realized Sophia hadn't come because she missed her daughter. She had come because Alejandro probably questioned why his future wife didn't have her daughter living with her. "Sophia, Isabella is in therapy. She's starting to improve. You can't just show up after 2 months and take her like nothing happened." "Excuse me? Who are you to tell me what I can or can't do with my daughter? You're nobody." Alejandro looked clearly uncomfortable with the whole situation, but said nothing. "Sophia, let's talk outside," I said. We went to the yard, and there I told her everything I had been holding in for months. "How can you be here acting like your mother of the year when you abandoned your daughter after she tried to take her own life? Do you have any idea of the damage you've done to her?" Sophia laughed. She laughed in my face. "Elena, you've always been so dramatic. Isabella is fine. Kids do those things for attention. Besides, she's been better with you, hasn't she? So what's the problem?" "The problem is she's your daughter. The problem is you should have been there. Look, Eleanor, I appreciate that you've taken care of Isabella, but I don't need your help anymore. Isabella is coming with me today." "No." "What do you mean no?" "You heard me. Isabella is not going with you today. Not until she's ready and not until you prove that you actually care about her well-being." Sophia's face turned red with fury. "Are you telling me I can't take my own daughter? Who do you think you are? I'm the person who's been taking care of her while you've been traveling with your boyfriends. This is kidnapping. I'm going to sue you." And that's when I dropped the bomb that would change everything. "Go ahead. Sophia, sue me. But when you do, make sure to explain to the judge why you abandoned your daughter after her suicide attempt. Make sure to tell him about all the weekends you left her with me to go off with your boyfriends. And especially make sure to explain why you didn't show up at the hospital until 2 days later." Sophia's smile faded. "And one more thing, Sophia. I don't know if you knew this, but Michael named me Isabella's temporary legal guardian last month. So technically, I have more legal right to her right now than you do." It was true. Michael, worried about Sophia's instability and seeing that Isabella was thriving with me, had spoken to a lawyer. Since Isabella had clearly expressed that she wanted to stay with me, and considering the circumstances of her suicide attempt, the judge had approved the temporary guardianship. Sophia didn't know what to say. Alejandro pulled her by the arm. "Sophia, let's go. This is too complicated." Before leaving, Sophia yelled at me, "You haven't heard the last from me, Elena. I'm going to take Isabella away from you and I'm going to make sure you never see her again." But I wasn't afraid anymore. I had the law on my side, and more importantly, I had the truth. Update 1. It's been 3 weeks since the confrontation with Sophia, and things have gotten intense. As promised, Sophia sued me for kidnapping and parental alienation. She also requested a restraining order against me, claiming I was manipulating Isabella against her. What Sophia didn't expect was that I had been documenting everything from the beginning. I had text messages where she asked me to take care of Isabella, receipts for all the expenses I had made for the child, medical reports from the hospital, and testimonies from Isabella's psychologist. Michael also testified in my favor. He admitted he had been worried about Sophia's negligence for months, but hadn't acted earlier because he hoped she would change. The hearing was surreal. Sophia arrived dressed like she was going to a wedding, with Alejandro by her side. Her lawyer tried to paint me as an obsessed single woman who had seduced Isabella to alienate her from her mother. But when the judge reviewed all the evidence, Sophia's face changed, especially when he read the psychologist's report that clearly established that Isabella was afraid to go home with her mother. "Mrs. Sophia," said the judge, "can you explain to me why you weren't present at the hospital when your daughter attempted suicide?" I was working. I was at a work retreat." "A work retreat at a spa?" Sophia's lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. The judge reviewed all the documents and then called Isabella to his office to speak with her privately. When she came out, Isabella had tears in her eyes, but she told me she had been honest about everything. In the end, the judge not only denied Sophia's lawsuit, but extended my temporary guardianship for 6 more months. He also ordered Sophia to take parenting classes and go to therapy before she could even request supervised visits. But the real surprise came at the end of the hearing. The judge addressed Sophia directly. "Ma'am, your behavior during this process has been frankly disturbing. Your daughter needs stability, not legal drama. I warn you that any additional attempts to harass Ms. Eleanor or disrupt your daughter's recovery will result in more severe consequences." Sophia left the courthouse furious, but I felt like I had won the lottery. Isabella ran to me and hugged me. "Thank you, Godmother Elena. Thank you for not letting me go." In that moment, I knew I had done the right thing. Update 2. It's been 4 months since the hearing, and life with Isabella has been incredible. She's thriving in therapy, her grades have improved, and for the first time in a long time, I see her genuinely happy. Sophia, on the other hand, isn't having a good time. Turns out Alejandro left her after all the legal drama. Apparently he told her he didn't want to be with someone who couldn't take care of her own children. But what really surprised me was what happened last week. I got a call from Sophia's sister, Carmen, who lives in another state. "Elena, I have to tell you something. Sophia asked me for money to pay her lawyer, and when I asked her why she needed a lawyer, she told me a completely different version of events." Carmen explained that Sophia had told her that I had stolen Isabella while she was on a work trip, and that I was filling the child's head with lies about her. "But then," Carmen continued, "I decided to investigate on my own. I called Michael, and he told me the truth. Elena, I had no idea Isabella had attempted suicide. Sophia never told me." Carmen was devastated. She adored Isabella and couldn't believe Sophia had hidden something so serious. "There's something else," Carmen told me. "Sophia has been telling the whole family that you're an obsessed manipulator, but after talking to Michael, I called other relatives. Turns out Sophia had been asking everyone for money, saying she needed to fight to get her daughter back. Apparently, Sophia had scammed several family members out of thousands of dollars with her false story. But it got better. Carmen told me that Isabella's grandmother, Sophia's mother, had decided to change her will after learning the truth. My mom is furious, Elena. She adored Isabella, and knowing that Sophia abandoned her after the suicide attempt, well, let's just say Sophia is no longer in the will. Last week, Sophia tried to come to my house again. This time she came alone. No lawyer, no boyfriend. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept in days. "Elena," she said when I opened the door, "we need to talk." "About what, Sophia?" "About Isabella. I know I've made mistakes, but she's my daughter. You can't take her away from me forever." For the first time since this all started, I saw something like genuine remorse in her eyes. "Sophia, nobody took Isabella from you. You abandoned her. I know I screwed up, but I can change. I can be better." I took a deep breath. "Sophia, if you really want to get your daughter back, then you have to prove you've changed. Not with words, but with actions. What do I have to do? First, finish the parenting classes the judge ordered. Second, go to therapy. Not just the court-ordered sessions, but real therapy. Third, stop lying to the family about what happened." Her eyes filled with tears. "And if I do all that, will you give me another chance?" "I'm not the one who has to give you another chance, Sophia. It's Isabella, and she's not ready to see you yet." Sophia nodded and left. I don't know if she's really going to do the necessary work to change, but for the first time I felt like maybe she understood the gravity of the situation. Update 3. A full year has passed since everything started, and I can finally say I have good news to share. Isabella is completely transformed. She's a different child, confident, happy, getting excellent grades. Her psychologist says she's made extraordinary progress. Most importantly, she no longer talks about hurting herself, and when I ask her how she feels, she always tells me she's happy. 3 months ago, Sophia finally completed all the court-ordered classes and therapy. Her therapist recommended starting with supervised visits, so now Isabella sees her once a week for 2 hours at a family center. At first, Isabella was nervous about seeing her mum again, but we've worked a lot in therapy preparing her for those encounters. The first visit was tense, but they've been gradually improving. What surprises me most is that Sophia really seems to have changed. She no longer arrives looking like a model to the visits. She dresses casually and focuses completely on Isabella. She asks about school, about her friends, about her feelings. She no longer tries to defend herself or justify her past actions. Last week, Sophia asked to speak with me after one of the visits. "Eleanor," she said, "I want to thank you. Thank me for saving my daughter, for doing what I couldn't do." Her eyes filled with tears. "In therapy, I've understood many things. I understood that I was so lost in my own pain after the divorce that I forgot Isabella was also suffering. I understood that when she needed me most, I abandoned her." I had never heard Sophia talk like this. "I don't know if Isabella will ever completely forgive me," she continued, "but at least I know she's safe with you. I know she's loved. Sophia, Isabella loves you. She just needs time." "I know, and I'm willing to wait as long as necessary. It's been a slow process, but Isabella now occasionally asks me about her mom outside of visits. Do you think my mom has really changed, Godmother Elena?" I always tell her the truth. "I think she's trying to change, sweetheart. But you don't have to rush to forgive her. That's your decision. The formal guardianship will be reviewed in a few months. Michael and I have talked about maybe allowing Isabella to spend some weekends with Sophia if the supervised visits continue going well, but that will be Isabella's decision. The most incredible thing about all this is that Isabella now says she wants to study psychology when she grows up, to help other children going through difficult situations. Like you helped me, Godmother Elena. As for me, I never thought that at 35 I would become a de facto mother, but I wouldn't change anything. Isabella has taught me more about unconditional love than I ever thought I could learn. And the real poetic justice of all this is that now Sophia has to prove every day that she deserves to be in her daughter's life. She can no longer just show up when it's convenient. She can no longer take Isabella's love for granted. The last update I have is that Isabella's grandmother, who did indeed change her will, has established an educational fund for Isabella that will activate when she turns 18. The document specifically states that the money is for Isabella, and if Sophia tries to access it in any way, the fund will be donated to a children's mental health organization. Even from the grave, Grandma is making sure Isabella is protected. Narcus, final update. Today marks exactly 18 months since Isabella came to live with me, and I have to share something incredible that happened. Yesterday was the final hearing to determine permanent custody. Isabella, who is now 16, was able to speak directly to the judge about her preferences. With a clear and confident voice, Isabella told the judge, "I want to stay with my godmother Eleanor. She saved my life, literally. But I also want to keep seeing my mom because I think she's really trying to change." The judge granted permanent legal custody to me, with regular visitation for Sophia. But the most important thing was what happened after the hearing. Sophia approached me and hugged me. "Thank you for not giving up on her when I did." Isabella also came over and hugged both of us. "I love you both," she said, "just in different ways." It was a moment I'll never forget. Last month, Sophia got a stable job for the first time in years. She's no longer chasing toxic relationships, and she's focusing on rebuilding her relationship with Isabella step by step. She still has a lot of work to do, but at least now she's making the effort. As for the court ban I mentioned in the title, that happened when Sophia tried to burst into one of the early hearings screaming false accusations. The judge literally had to have her removed and banned her from entering the courtroom without her lawyer present. It was humiliating for her, but I think it was the moment that woke her up to the reality of the situation. Isabella is now in therapy only once a month, compared to twice a week when she started. She's on the honor roll at school, has a solid group of friends, and is excited about her college plans. Most importantly, when I ask her how she feels, she always tells me, "Safe. I feel safe." And that, at the end of the day, is all that matters. Sometimes people ask me if I regret getting so involved in this situation. My answer is always the same. How could I regret saving the life of someone I love like my own daughter? Isabella taught me that family isn't always blood. Sometimes family is whoever shows up when everyone else leaves. Sometimes family is whoever holds you when you're falling. And sometimes family is whoever has the courage to fight for you, even when that means fighting against those who should have protected you from the beginning. And that's where this incredible story ends. What do you think? Did Elena do the right thing fighting for Isabella, even when it meant confronting her best friend? Do you think Sophia really changed, or is she just acting? I'd love to read your opinions in the comments. If this story moved you as much as it did me, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Sharing the video also helps me tremendously to reach more people. And speaking of more incredible stories, right? Now on screen you have another video with a story that will leave you speechless. Click and let's continue together on this channel where real stories surpass any fiction.